Maybe it was breathing the same Nottingham air as Brian Clough for a few years. Perhaps it's the headstrong Yorkshireman in him. But few managers combine achievement and eccentricity quite like Neil Warnock. When he was at Notts County, Warnock's success rate outdid even Cloughie. He turned down the Chelsea job long before Glenn Hoddle said yes. And last May, having taken Huddersfield into Division 1 via the playoffs, Warnock decided to quit. Knowing numerous clubs would offer him a better contract, yet the job he took was down in Division 3 at Plymouth, the last stop on the line.
I seem to resurrect places or go to places that are rock bottom, and I enjoy it. I must admit, the challenge is lovely, and we're living in a beautiful part of the country. All right, it's a bit laid back, but why worry? There's not that many traffic jams down here, and so how much do you put on that?
I think he is the best manager in the whole of all the leagues, believe it or not. I know people say I'm over-exaggerating, but I don't believe I am. You know, he's gone to a lot of clubs with nothing to spend, and he's done remarkably well. He's had success at every club he's been to, and you can't measure a man higher than that.
There can't be many managers who've taken a club up to the first division and dropped down to the third. Seriously, can
No, they can't. I must admit, most of my players, when I talk to them, I mean, Littlejohn for a start, I mean, to come down from the first division to here, I had to do a lot of talking with Adrian and a lot of the other players, and I just simply said to them, look, I've come down 2 divisions after getting promotion. You haven't even got promotion, you know.
Plymouth's previous manager wasn't quite as bubbly. There was the saga of relegation and Peter Shilton's financial problems.
A little bit of help from people at the club.
It was all played out very publicly, but then that's the chairman's style. So much for deadly Doug Ellis. Desperate Dan McCauley says what he likes, and that led to a fallout with Shilton long before he was sacked.
I remember phoning another club up that I had an interview with, and I told them I was coming down here, and they said, how can you go down to work for him? But I wanted to work for him, and I always do things that I want to do, and now I want to try and make people down here happy, but at the same time I like winning, so I want to be a winner and get some more pictures on the wall.
That enthusiasm is infectious. The supporters didn't take too much winning over, and so far Warnock's persuaded 10 players Plymouth is not the back of beyond, even if life is more mellow. Some would say sleepy. The chairman prefers dormant.
I got a company in Bampton. Where's Bampton? He says, I export all over the world. If you've got the right product at the right price, people will come and see you. That's what Enoch Powell once said, and I always believe him. And really, it's the same here. If we can play the football, we'll get the crowds no matter where we are.
There's nothing else down here. I mean, you go past Bristol, and it's either Plymouth or France. I mean, there's nowhere else, is there, down here? So, you know, they do come in. I mean, we have supporters at away games that have a 2-hour trip from the bottom of Cornwall before they get to Plymouth. And then usually 5 or 6 or 7 hours after that. And they turn up week in, week out.
Division 3's biggest crowd this season, 11,700, watched the latest chapter in the Pilgrim's progress in the Devon derby with Torquay, which began predictably with Argyle imposing their game and their top scorer, Adrian Littlejohn, opening the scoring. Yet Torquay, 91st in the league and without an away win, was suddenly a team inspired. Number 7, Ronnie Mauge, signed from St Vincent in the Caribbean last week, jinked down the right, and Jamie Ndah, signed from Kingstonian in the ISIS Premier League, headed a fine equaliser. Torquay's second followed minutes later. Player-manager Don O'Riordan's imaginative pass set the tone, but it was Russell Coughlan's first-time cross that caught Plymouth out. And Ndah knocked in another. Plymouth's 8-game unbeaten run in the league was looking fragile, and Warnock's side needed to respond quickly. Some frantic pressure and Chris Ledbetter's battling spirit was enough to open up the Torquay defence. 2 for Plymouth and 2 for Littlejohn. And a real thriller for the neutrals. Torquay went straight to the other end, and another of O'Riordan's new strikers, Scott Partridge, signed on loan from Bristol City, made it 3-2 with the best goal of the lot. At half-time, on came 2 Plymouth substitutes, and up went the blood pressure. Torquay had centre-half Ian Gore sent off, but Plymouth still seemed to lack the subtlety to find a way through until 11 minutes from the end, when right-winger Ronnie Mauge popped up on the left. Warnock couldn't contain himself. Now Plymouth's extra man seemed to be popping up everywhere. Although eventually, after Ian Baird's flick, it was the star man, Adrian Littlejohn, who completed the comeback. Plymouth had won in a roundabout sort of way. It was certainly exciting and definitely unorthodox. But then that's Neil Warnock all over. Well, more from the West Country coming up in part 2. We'll round up all the rest of the goals from Divisions 2 and 3. And in our nostalgia spot, we've got one of the greatest games of all time. Join us after the break.